Hello World, I'm ComputerHeat, and welcome back to another episode of Hello World series. So, once again, we're watching Korean Army versus Tofu from the round 5 games of the Operation Charlie Fox tournament. And this is game 2. Watched game 1, well, actually last night. It's now the next day, and I'm watching this one. And yeah, the last game was a really impressive performance by Korean Army. He played pretty much perfectly. Tofu made a couple of mistakes, and Korean Army was able to exploit those mistakes. I don't even know if I should call them mistakes per se. I think he just got a little bit outplayed. And Korean Army played perfectly, and if you're playing against someone who's playing perfectly, you also have to do the same, or else you're going to lose. And that's what happened. So now we've got Korean Army playing as the OKW, and Tofu is playing as the Soviets. Korean Army is sending his looks like he's going for a left side focus by sending his Sturm Pioneers straight out to the cutoff, while his Volksgrenadiers go to take the connecting point to his base, and the Sturm Pioneers are straight off to the left. Meanwhile, Tofu is spreading out a bit, as you would expect from a Soviet player. He's got 2 squads of conscripts plus his combat engineers. Let's have a look at the commanders that each player's got built. Something's building. Reinforced barbed wire, so he doesn't want anybody jumping over the fence. Tofu's going to pressure the cutoff right away. Shock rifle frontline tactics, counterattack, combined arms, Luftwaffe ground forces, special operations, breakthrough doctrine. I'm not sure what Korean Army is favoring these days, and I don't know enough about Tofu to say. But looks like we'll probably have a quick tier 1 in Korean Army, if I had to guess by what his truck is doing right now. The LEIG is very, very strong these days. So quick tier 1 is, I think, something we've seen from a lot of players so far. But to be honest, I haven't seen OKW. I don't know that I've seen OKW win a game so far in this tournament. Definitely seem to be struggling in terms of 1v1 right now. It's interesting to see, considering how broken and overpowered they were for a little while. But that was just the cause of about 1 or 2 units overperforming a bit, so they're in a bit of a difficult spot right now. I think Soviets are very, very strong, so if Tofu can play well, he should be able to beat Korean Army. As we can see, Korean Army is playing very focused. He's not spreading out at all. He's keeping his forces together in the early game. Ooh, this could be a dead Volksgrenadier squad. That would be... Oh, it is a loss to the squad. That's a huge loss there. You can see the Korean Army is down to just 3 units. He is setting up his battle group headquarters in the spot near his cutoff. So he's going to be able to hold on there, but bit of a misplay. Now, we saw in the last game of this series just how much an early squad loss cost Tofu when he lost a Grenadier squad to a mine. Tofu's chased off, and I have to say he could be doing a better job of having just 1 squad off capping the right side of the map. As it is, he's actually going to be behind Korean Army in terms of his resources, or at least in terms of his control of the resource territories. Korean Army, of course, has a lower resource income just by virtue of playing OKW. Sandbags built to help cover this point, and Korean Army is trying to take the left side territories, and we might see a bit of a vertical map split back in Tofu's base. Early healing purchased, so he's not going to do anything like really, really heavily invest in units, but I guess he already has his 4 squads of conscripts. Good to keep them in good health, and now that Korean Army's gotten healing, he is going to need the healing just to keep parity up. Why is he... I'm not really sure why he's engaging in this fight. He could lose that territory and still be fine. Wait a minute. Yeah, it'll still be connected through the right. I still haven't quite gotten a complete grasp of this map yet. I think tier 2 would be a really good idea right now. And get a mortar Or he doesn't have a heavy mortar available to him. No, a 120mm mortar would be fantastic in this situation. And obviously that's not going to be something he can get. The Korean Army is, you see he has thrown at least one incendiary grenade. Looks like it's in the church. I'm not sure that Tofu even notices it. It's kind of hard to see. I didn't actually see the grenade get thrown, but that smoke is coming out of the church. Another incendiary grenade thrown. And Korean Army's probably going to have to get himself a Raketenwerfer after having thrown all of these incendiary grenades. Nice to see the Tofu is moving a squad off over on the right. It's gone around, captured the fuel, captured the right victory point, is now taking the top munitions point. And if he can keep those munitions flowing, he should be in a pretty good shape to make a nice, strong, early attack. And we have a commander pick for Tofu. He's gone for shock rifle, frontline tactics. With a squad of shock troops called in. I was actually kind of hoping we'd get to see God, now that he's picked it, I can't look and see what his other commanders were, but the one with the guards and the howitzer. I was rather hoping to get to see that. The shocks will really push around Korean Army's weak troops at this stage of the game, and this is a map with lots of opportunities for flanking, so I think the shock troops will be quite good throughout the match. But the buffed howitzer is just so much fun to see. It was nerfed into the ground a long time ago, then buffed all out of proportion. It was doing crazy damage. Then it got nerfed again, and recently it's gotten buffed. So it is it does 200 damage per shot, and we have the commander pick from Korean Army. He's gone for liftoff of ground forces. Seen a lot of that recently. I believe that both Vindicare and Classy Skull Champion David used this commander. I know at least Classy David used it. Oh man, these shocks could cause a lot of trouble right now. If they get a nice grenade off, they could do sick damage. They are going to be fighting near squads as they reinforce, so they're not going to be able to stick around for too long before this becomes a Pyrrhic attack. You can see the Stern Pioneers are already reinforcing. He's trying to go in on this. This is totally not worth it. He needs to pull these guys back. They're starting to get suppressed. He doesn't want to lose men. Even if he manages to clear out the LEIG, it's just going to get recaptured. Yeah, I think to make that kind of attack, he needed to have like his entire army pushing up there. Flamethrowers and Molotovs would have really helped a lot. Now he's going to be forced back, and Korean Army is going to be able to hold him off. But Tofu is taking the cutoff point. We'll see how long he can hold that and cut Korean Army off from his fuel. The Korean Army seems to have a very good idea of what he wants to do in this match. Lock down the left part of the map, just this northwest sector, and then push out from there once he gets a strong enough force. Is David built... David, Tofu. I'm getting confused over who I'm watching. Once again, I would really like to see a mortar. There's a lot of things that could get hit by it. I suspect we're going to see this LEIG doing a lot of work. Some people are going double LEIG. That's been fairly popular. It's quite a nuisance. Oh, mine laid down here by Tofu, so that's a good play. His flamers should be able to get out of there no problem, but they're taking a rather lengthy retreat path. And Korean Army's Volks Grenadiers light-footed around the mine. Let's see if he upgrades minesweepers. He's going to need to do that soon, but he's very low on munitions. We see one Raketenwerfer, and Tofu's got quite a lot of fuel and munitions stored up, and a good chunk of manpower. Now that what these individual squads attacking over here is, perhaps he's just trying to poke around and get a look at what's going on. But all right, here comes the rest of the attack. The machine gun's facing the wrong direction. It's gonna try to flip the Shocks should probably try to focus on that, maybe throw a grenade on it. One squad of conscripts is forced away. There goes the grenade onto the machine gun, but wow, it does hardly anything. It doesn't even kill a single member of the squad, and I don't think that this attack is going to succeed as a result. Korean Army is able to just easily fall back towards this position, and I think at this point Tofu needs to do what he's doing right now, which is to attack up. Once again, a mortar would be able to barrage this area and soften it up before these attacks go off. When you got your opponent camping in one small area, indirect fire is always the way to go. God, I love these new blood effects. The Storm Pioneer had a big jet of blood shooting out of his throat before he fell down on the ground. We can see Korean Army's managed to repel the attack without too many losses. Without any losses, really. His army just keeps getting bigger and is trying to take the munitions as well. I don't believe there are any mines around. The Korean Army hasn't really had the munitions to be able to put down many, but he just spent some. He had 55 or so a moment ago. Now he's down to 14. So perhaps he did put down a mine. Another truck is coming in, probably going to set that up to be tier 4. Yep, there it goes. And here comes the T-70. This T-70 could really wreak havoc right now. It's a little bit of a shame that Tofu didn't... If he had focused more on capturing these resources on the right and really focused on rushing the T-70, I think this could have come out several minutes ago and had an absolutely devastating impact. He's going to try to skirt around, avoid the Panzerschreck in the building while getting in shots on these squads. Coming in from a different angle might be a good move. Oof. It looks like he's maybe managed to break the front line a little bit, and he keeps repositioning his T-70, which is really nice to see. He doesn't know that there's a rocket. Well, he doesn't know the Rakettenwerfer is over there, but he probably suspects the Korean Army is moving it around to try to catch him, rather than just leaving it in ambush. Man, the machine gun plus the LEIG is doing a lot of suppression. T-70 took a hit, it's backing away. I don't see it. Using field repairs, so he's probably just going to fix it up with his combat engineers. And Korean Army is moving in to try to start choking out his opponent. Tier 4's up, so pulling off flanks is going to be very difficult now. And Tofu is probably going to have to start coming in from the wrapping all the way around to the left, rather than trying to approach from the right. Sounds like the T-70 is using crew repair. Should get nearly fixed up from doing that. And one thing I like to do with T-70s is once they get hit the first time by an anti-tank shot, just immediately pop that crew repair and pull it back. But you can take 3 shots that way, but I think now he'll got like 95% health left, which should just be enough to take 2 shots. Still, he's got lots and lots of munitions, so he can afford to crew repair it again if he wants to keep his... Alright, finally the mortar is building. Oh man, nasty hit there. Run the Panzerschreck, this T-70's got to go. You might just want to pop crew repairs on it already and send it back and get it fully topped off once again. Oh my god! I think that was just... What did that? That must have been the Schwerer Panzer headquarters kills 4 guys in about 2 shots. Korean Army, looks like he's feeling comfortable. He's getting pushed back a little bit, but he's retaking the map. Oh boy, losing this could be quite bad. We have the double LEIG build now from Korean Army that we've seen from a lot of players. This gun building for Tofu. I'd really like to see him just push a hard attack, maybe drop some incendiary artillery, and he might be able to do my favorite move, the KV-8 rush. Just 1 CP away from it. If he doesn't spend any more fuel, he'll easily be able to afford it. For it to work, he's going to need to kill a couple more of these anti-tank units. But if he can render inoperative one of the Panzer Schreks and decrew the Rakettenwerfer, I think it'll be fine. Korean Army looks like he's maybe going directly for Panther. He's got 130 fuel in the bank. He has tier 4 up. If he decides to, he could go Jagdpanzer 4, which is a very nice unit also. Oh, you gotta pull back, guy. Yeah, those LEIGs are nasty. And it's a P4, in fact, that's building from Korean Army. Yeah, those LEIGs are strong. The mortar basically, I think he'll just need to use barrage and reposition over and over and over again. Double machine guns are making it challenging for Tofu to move around. Facing these, the army composition that he's got, I think that maybe another squad of flamethrowers could be useful. Double flamers are very good against Volksgrenadiers, and with the way that flamers work against garrison buildings now, it could be extremely dangerous for Korean Army to keep his machine guns in buildings if there's 2 flamethrower squads on the field. Ooh, bit slow in that retreat. Tofu could even chase that squad and try to kill it, but he's not going to. The P4 has arrived, and we've got, looks like, another skirmish going off in the middle of the map. The Stern Pioneers take the middle VP. Tofu looks like he is the purchase of these 2 Zis guns, trying to stick it out for the long haul. Ouch. T-70's gotten 12 kills. Hasn't had the impact that you often see from an early T-70 in terms of getting him lots of extra map, but it is pulling its weight, that's for sure. Wow. Oh, man. It's getting tore up. It's a difficult spot for Tofu to hit the tier 4, but he's trying to move his Zis guns into position, pulling them back now. I guess he feels they're a little overextended. Korean Army coming around to try to get the munitions on the left side of the map. If we look at the VPs, Korean Army is below his opponent, but he has control of the VPs right now, and it seems to be pretty solid control. It's hard to see that Tofu will easily be able to get back into the center of the map. He could harass the flanks more and take that point back, but getting into the middle is going to be really difficult without some good mortar barrages. Some kind of huge frontal attack, or just more indirect fires destroying these buildings. Oh man, look how much damage the T-70 is doing to the squads. Up to Vet 3. No, why didn't you turn on field repairs? Oh, when you're running away, always turn on field repairs, especially when you have more than 400 munitions. Basically your get out of jail free card when you're using a T-70. So Lukes is building now for Korean Army, and Tofu looks like he's okay. I thought he was going to go for the IS-2, but he's chosen to get a KV-8. that could be the kind of unit that he needs to push directly up through the middle of the map. I think the window when the KV-8 would be most useful is probably past in terms of it being working as a shock unit. If he complements that with some Su-76s, that could work nicely. Let's look at these two Zis guns. So he has plenty of anti-tank, but it's the kind that's going to get pushed around by the LEIGs. I'd like to see a nice big coordinated push with the incendiary artillery used. Korean Army's moving his machine guns forward. It's one of the houses, strong houses. One in the house remains. This one, I guess he got it out just to reinforce it and have it healed up, so it's returned back to its old position. Oh, you can see he used facing orders. Oh. And it looks like Tofu's trying to just kill this. Oh, how did that get a damaged engine? That Tofu's trying to just kill the machine guns in the houses. He should change the gun from the flamer to the cannon on his KV-8, and he should be able to finish off this P4 without too much trouble. The Luke's is out. Korean Army's fuel situation is hurting, and I think that Tofu is making a bit of a mistake by not pushing up and trying to kill this P4 with his tank. Instead, he's just going to pull it back and cancel the attack. That's a mistake. Glad to see the Zis barrage used. He doesn't have a howitzer available to him, this commander, but the Zis barrage is extremely nasty against clumped up units. Oh man, the Rakettenwerfer is cleared out. This is the time for Tofu to push. He's probably not going to get another good opportunity for a little while. He needs to keep going. If he can move up, drop flame artillery around here, he can prevent the Rakettenwerfer from being decrewed and start pushing directly on the Schwerer Panzer headquarters. Maybe be able to destroy it, with, backed up by the Zis guns. Oh, he's pulling back, trying to capture territory. Korean Army's managed to recrew his Rakettenwerfer, getting himself a second Rakettenwerfer. D4 is getting fixed up. And now he's trying to attack again, but I think the opportunity super effective is passed. Drop this! Drop it! Oh my god, look at all these squads! Just drop the goddamn artillery! I'm so bad. Alright. This barrage could do quite a lot of damage. Flame artillery still not being used. Ooh, here comes the flame artillery. I don't know the Korean Army notices it. It's nicely placed behind a curtain of smoke. Oh, the LEIG is moving into the flames. Looks like it's just on the border of it. Wow, lots of squads coming up to try to lay in some Shrek shots onto the KV-8. They're retreating through flames, but it looks like they're not going to take any casualties. So no forward retreat point upgrade from Korean Army. Probably unnecessary, since his headquarters is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from his battle group headquarters. No repair truck yet, although I expect we'll see that if this game goes long. But 16 kills on the one LEIG. Where's the other one? 2 on the other. That may have been decrewed. No, it's not decrewed. It's got 2 kills and almost vet 1. Once again, it looks like Tofu's trying to save up to get an IS-2. It could work nicely, but he's quite close to it. He nearly has enough fuel. He now has enough fuel, and in about a minute he'll have enough manpower to call it in. Su-76s could be useful as well. They'll be able to help him sustain the indirect fire pressure while also doing good anti-tank damage. The KV-8 provides plenty of anti-infantry. And we'll see how the IS-2 can do. I just don't like the IS-2. I don't think it's fun to use, so I'm not... My comments mostly reflect my preferences, not what I think of its performance. It's still a very strong tank. Conscript's getting in probably too deep. They're going to have a difficult retreat path. Is he trying to scout for an off-map? Perhaps scout for his Zis guns. It looks like, man, the P4 is going to escape again. And IS-2 is now out. Korean Army in a decent position to hold it off. See if he puts down any mines at some point. His Stern Pioneers have been a bit busy repairing his vehicles over and over again. And fight's happening on the left BP. The push is coming now. Oh, KV-8's in a lot of trouble. Let's see if it can get away. One more shot, and down it goes. A little too late on there. A lot of damage from those units. IS-2 is going to try to destroy the Rakettenwerfer. Come on, use the flame artillery. One hit. There's another nice penetrating hit, and the IS-2 is going to have to back away, and I think the Tofu is probably going to need to get himself another squad of combat engineers to keep up the repairs on this huge heavy tank. He has taken the left BP. And pulled back to his base, and the armies from the two players are looking about even at the moment. The center of the map is just getting wrecked. One of the most fun things about a Company of Heroes game, or one of the most pretty things and something that separates is just the way the map changes as these battles go on. "24 kills between the two LEIGs. Fet 4 Stern Pioneers. So they can even throw stun grenades and the like now if they want. Although Korean Army's munitions are quite low. What did they get spent on? Did he buy a new Volksgrenadier squad and upgrade them with Panzerschrecks? Yep. IS-2 working on the Tier 4. Incendiary artillery is coming in. That's not really going to do too much to it, I don't believe. But it will discourage anti-tank squads from coming up to deal with it. Wow, P4 thinks better of trying to go toe-to-toe with a nearly 100% health IS-2. Tier 4 probably going to go down, meaning that the only thing the Korean Army will have gotten out of it is some flank protection, which is quite valuable. And, oh, nice Molotov. And the P4. Repairs are going in. And Korean Army's close to being able to afford a Panther if he wants to get one of those. Jagdpanzer IV would also still be an excellent choice. Machine gun in this building is at a bit of a risk of going down with the house. You may see a grenade from the shock troops finish it off. There out goes the grenade. They're not packing up, but there's see the changes to the grenades right there. Oh man, taking a ton of damage. IS-2 is going to try to seal the deal. Out they go. House collapses right after the machine gun gets out. More incendiary artillery is available to drop, and probably should get dropped. Here it comes. Korean Army will probably see that and start moving forward. Jukes off to the left, but a bit slow. Tier 4 does finally die. Conscripts are lowering the middle VP. Korean Army's actually managed to get the triple cap. One of the things I expect we'll see a lot from these very high level players in the main event is just constant map harassment while the main forces are clashing. So throughout all of this, Korean Army managed to capture the right VP while his opponent was pushing up through the middle. That he thought he could spare a squad, I think, was maybe a bit optimistic. He did lose his tier 4. He's actually rebuilt it immediately, so clearly saving up to get another vehicle is not the priority, but having this tier 4 up, perhaps just for the flank defense. Interesting positioning of it. I know in a game I watched the other day, Nagano versus Jezelin, Jezelin built a very early tier 4, and I asked him about it, and his, oh god, get out of there, conscripts. I asked him about it, and the reason that he built the early tier 4 was to get flank defense. And it looks like Korean Army is doing the same. 11 kills and no vet. The IS-2 doesn't even get any good vet until it gets up to vet 2. But for it to do that, he's going to need to fight some vehicles. Picking off infantrymen is not a particularly efficient way of gaining vet. Tofu's got a lot of resources banked. Not really sure what he's holding out for. He's not. This isn't the old days when you could just spam IS-2s. Let's check over. He's not teched up anymore. I think that getting a Katyusha could be a decent move. There's quite a lot of infantry. His mortar, 7 kills, has not been super effective. He has been moving it around. It's got vet 3, so it's clearly been doing a lot of damage. Shock's getting right on top of the Volksgrenadiers, but they're pinned by a hit from the LEIG. Man, that thing does a lot of suppression when it lands. New KV-8 is out. And with the fixed up IS-2 and a new KV-8, Tofu may try to make another big push to dislodge Korean Army. He's taking the left VP, he's trying to move over to the cutoff. Oh, incendiary grenade's gonna clear out this vet 2. Ooh. Clears out the vet 2 anti-tank gun. Units are pushing forward. May see the end of the P4. The KV-8 is way too far back. He needs to keep moving forward. Here comes some incendiary artillery that should kill the Raketenwerfer. KV-8 needs to keep pushing forward. P4 goes out of control as it gains vet 3, and the KV-8 is in a nice spot to do a ton of damage. IG is moving forward. It thinks it's an anti-tank gun. My frame rate is dropping quite low from all of that fire. And now Tofu is pulling back. Once again, he's managed to get off a nice attack, but he's just backing away. He's going to try to let his infantry go up and work, and they're having difficulty capping under the fire of this base emplacement, and now they're getting hit by the IG and a machine gun, quickly pinned and forced to retreat. Korean Army is slow to react to the arrival of the KV-8. He may lose his Stern Pioneers as a result. Down they go. That may prompt him to invest in Tier 2. 10 fuel away from that, so he'll be able to afford it in a minute or so. 30 seconds until he has enough fuel. He's getting himself a Panther. KV-8 is getting repaired while the IS-2 moves forward by itself. Incendiary artillery is dropped that forces a retreat from Korean Army's units. Not really using conjunction with anything else yet, and the Panther gets caught out and trades blows with the IS-2. Vet 5 Volksgrenadiers are not easy to deal with. I'll reiterate that I think more flamethrowers would work nicely. Just a couple extra combat engineers. One extra combat engineer might be enough. Get the repairs in quick order and burn down these blobbed up infantry. That looks pretty. Good map harassment by Tofu. He does have an idle. Oh, they're not idle. He's taken the fuel on the left, taken the VP on the left, taken the VP on the right, and he's moving over to take the munitions as well. Korean Army has a lot of munitions. Probably be saving up to use Valiant Assault at some point. Or, not Valiant Assault. Though Valiant Assault could be useful if he needs to close the distance between a wounded tank and his Volksgrenadiers. But Airborne Assault, we'll probably see that used at some point and drop down on top of some support weapons who think they're safe in the back. Oh, it's really noticeable, the power of the double LEIG build. They take up their expensive units, and how much pop cap do they take up? I can't remember. So 18 pop cap between the two of them, but the amount of suppression that they put out is just... Tofu is having a lot of trouble dealing with it. Now when combined with the machine guns, Korean Army's down to just one machine gun now. It makes it very hard for any of these pushes to come off properly. As expected, the repair truck has been purchased. No need to replace the Stern Pioneers, but although Korean Army has replaced the Stern Pioneers, that'll help him fix up his trucks as well, and if he needs to get minesweepers, he can do that. Make a good flanking squad for clearing out support weapons. The Volksgrenadiers are decent against tanks, but they're not... He is actually lacking... Airborne Assault is used. Okay, I'm not sure why he used Airborne Assault there. Here come the Fallschirmjäger. So now he has a vehicle snare in them. It's a nice chance to kill some retreating squads, get some vet on these Fallschirmjägers, help them become a little bit more survivable. They just can't hit a damn thing though, apparently. And the Vet 3 shock troops are more than a match for them. Oh, that instant pin from the LEIG. Oh, Panzerschreck got picked up, so clearly one of those got dropped by Korean Army's Volks. And this is nice to see. Okay, so Tofu's managed to really bottle up Korean Army into a little pocket. I think, say it again, I think the Katyusha would be a good choice. He has gotten an extra squad of combat engineers. I think he should put a flamethrower on them as well. Build tier 4, get the Katyusha, and just start pounding this area over and over, and it'll force Korean Army to react to him. You can make him do something that he doesn't want to do. Ziskan's not able to find a good line on this Schwer Panzer headquarters. There goes a good shot. It's backed up by the IS-2. The IS-2 is probably going to come in and start working on it. The 35 kill LEIG is also going to respond. Wow, going down in short order, but oh no, it looks like... Okay, good. Tofu notices you don't want to hand over free anti-tank weapons to your opponents, especially ones as good as this. This is lying in wait. Get a frontal hit on the Panther. If there's a conscript squad around here, you could potentially get a damaged engine on it and be able to finish it off. Large infantry force from Tofu's moving over to take a left VP. No flamethrower on this squad. Oh, Vet 3 Zis cleared. Probably will get destroyed. Maybe Korean Army will choose to salvage it instead. It looks like he's going to try to destroy it. Shock troops flanking near the top. Throw a grenade out. Korean Army doesn't seem to notice it. Bad reaction. And these shocks should just pull back. They're vastly outnumbered. They're strong, but they can't take on 5 squads by themselves. Incendiary artillery is coming in directly on top of the mechanized regiment headquarters. Could have been better placed over here. Oh, shock troops die. Panthers can't be too aggressive. He's down low enough that an anti-tank grenade could cause a damaged engine. And Tofu's going to have to pull back. I don't know how useful a Maxim would be in this situation. The LEIGs are causing so much trouble for him that they may not. That a Maxim might be almost a liability. A little bit of suppression would not go amiss fighting these blobs of infantry. Oh, nice hits from the Zis gun. Korean Army is capturing the right VP and the fuel point at the top left. These combat engineers are in real danger. Trying to repair while under fire, they could go down very quickly. Take 2 casualties. I think it's time for them to retreat. Still no tech from Tofu. Spending a lot of manpower on reinforcement. Ugh. Always annoying when you feeling so smart, sending a squad over to harass a sector, and they just walk straight into a machine gun. Well, Tofu realizes it before he takes any casualties, and those conscripts will go on back to base for healing. Those conscripts are really struggling to do anything at this point of the game. They can take territory. When they're massed, they can do damage to the Volksgrenadiers, but it's hard to see how they're really going to be able to contribute very much more. That said, this one with the Panzerschreck, Bet 3, could be quite good. I think we're probably going to see some incendiary grenades used to force him out of there. There goes one. Such a nice particle effect. Ooh, big hit from the IS-2. It's now Vet 2 with 18 kills. I can't believe he hasn't upgraded the heavy machine gun on it yet. There's some... munitions not necessarily being spent in the best way possible. Panther's going in deep. Gets a hit on the IS-2, forcing it backwards, and Tofu's getting pushed all the way back into his base. He still has free access out of the right side of his base. The Korean Army is actually trying to destroy the Zis gun. The infantry from Korean Army sweeping across to the right. I don't expect this attack to work, though. Please upgrade. KV-8 is tasked to clear out the machine gun on the right side of the map and appears to have accomplished that mission. And nothing can penetrate either of these two tanks, apparently. Panther's just bouncing shots over and over and over again. KV-8 could be in a great position to get some nasty attacks off. Here it comes, gonna try to burn up some of these Volksgrenadiers, doing tons of damage to this Vet 5 squad. Wow, it's almost dead. If the KV-8 pursues it, it will die for sure. Changes targets, this could be 2 squads down. Oh, he needs to keep going. He can't afford to stop. He needs to press the attack. And once again, Tofu disengages, and Korean Army is there to shore up his defenses and start working on this KV-8 with his badly damaged Panther. So something did start. Something did start doing some damage to the Panther. Damaged engine on the KV-8. Oh, the Fallschirmjäger who die in the process. You may see the end of this KV-8 right now. The IS-2 is trying to come over to save the KV-8. Fires, gets a big hit on the Panther. The Panther uses Blitzkrieg Assault to back away. Will the IS-2 pursue? All of these squads are fully healthy and reinforced now. Tofu had the chance to kill probably 2 full squads and maybe work on some more, but his reluctance to commit fully with the attack from the KV-8 is... It looks like Korean Army's army is exactly as strong as it was 2 or 3 minutes ago. It's pushing back up towards the cutoff that isn't actually going to cut off Tofu from anything. Continuing to apply the pressure, Tofu is taking the right VP. Oh, there's a nice hit from the IS-2. Even these shock troops are having difficulty dealing with the Vet 5 Volksgrenadiers. They just can't deal the damage fast enough. Mortar, 11 kills. I think it's been on the map for like 30 minutes. "13 kills. That's an improvement. So I guess I'm forced to eat my words now about the usefulness of the mortar when facing the the IGs. Although in my defense, I thought he should get it a lot earlier. No machine gun upgrade. Still on the IS-2. No second flamethrower. IS-2 is taking a serious beating. 4 squads of Panzerschrecks coming towards it. It could go down to a single volley from all of them. Tofu's managed to get the VPs under his control, but for how long? Shocks and conscripts badly outnumbered by these highly vetted Volksgrenadiers. KV-8 is coming up as well. If he forces a retreat, okay, so he's forced to retreat, he needs to keep pushing. Like, he needs to kill these squads. He can't just force them to retreat. It's not enough. So, Korean Army has upgraded his battle group headquarters to have the forward retreat point. He doesn't quite have enough to drop an incendiary artillery barrage. Wow, Korean Army actually uses Valiant Assault to get his squads out of the flames. Does that give them increased rate of fire? Oh, KV-8 dies. Doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. Now the incendiary artillery is available. Panther's destroyed. Incendiary artillery is coming down. The placement of this incendiary artillery has just been abysmal all game long. He really needed to drop it on his retreat path so that it would come down like around here. May lose his IS-2 as a result. VPs have changed hands once again. The Sturm Pioneers took back the VP on the right, and Tofu is going to claim it for the Soviets. Presently, I don't fancy the chances of the Sturm Pioneers here. Korean Army's probably not paying attention to them. Now he is. There they go. Loss of the Panther could be bad. Korean Army's replacing it with a Jagdpanzer IV. But I feel like he's got Tofu countered pretty well with what he's got. He doesn't even really need vehicles. The Panther's kind of superfluous. And at this point he just needs to hold out a little bit longer, control the 2 VPs, and the game will end soon. I feel like the lack of effective indirect fire has really hurt Tofu a lot. For such a long time, Korean Army was contained to fighting just more or less around this, keeping his squads all around this intersection. Su-76s with their barrages could have been quite good for softening that up. Followed up with a Katyusha. If he'd chosen a different commander, one with a howitzer, I think he would have been in a good spot. And he's just simply not able to do enough damage fast enough to these squads. IS-2 is nearly fully repaired. He's going to come, put in a couple of rounds. 28 kills. Not anywhere close to the effectiveness of these LEIGs. 48 kills on the Vet 5 LEIG. What does that even do? And 36 kills on the other. Impressive stuff. Jagdpanzer. About to be joined by a second Jagdpanzer. Once it gets up to Vet 1, it's going to be nearly impossible for Korean Army to stop those things. They'll just be able to turn on cautious movement and sneak around the map. I'll say this game not quite as flawlessly played by Korean Army as the last game was, but he still performed very well. And it's hard to say that there are even times when he seemed... There's not been a point where I thought, oh man, Korean Army's on the ropes, this could go either way. This could go... Yeah. Tofu's had the opportunity to do that to him, but he hasn't been pushing at the right times, I think. Tofu, meanwhile, I feel has gotten a little bit... Oh, what's the phrase I'm trying to think of? Where you can only think of one thing. Not narrow-minded. Gotten a bit tunnel-visioned. He's got this idea of what his army should be, and he keeps calling in these. Well, he hasn't lost an IS-2 yet. He keeps calling these KV-8s, and I think what he really needs is more indirect fire. The KV-8s are a good complement, but. Ooh, damaged engine on the Jagdpanzer. But I don't think he's going to be able to finish it off. You can see the COH2.org logo there on the side of the Jagdpanzer. Very nice. Oh, down it goes. So he does get the kill. KV-8 is moving in to try to finish off whatever it can find. But Korean Army is not retreating. He's focusing on taking the left VP. He knows, he sees victory at hand. 10 VPs remain for Tofu. Korean Army's got 180. Oh my god, that was an awesome flame burst. Combat engineers are trying to move up into the center of the map to capture that point if they can avoid being suppressed, or they can avoid being pinned. Oh, then they could take this point for the Soviets. 7 VPs remain. Korean Army's got a solid hold for the moment on the left. Middle VP is whited. The drain is stopped. The brave combat engineers and Korean Army's going to move up with a machine gun. And he's actually using Valiant Assault to get his Stern Pioneers to sprint over to take the right VP while the machine gun moves in to hold on to the center. Oh, the conscripts are pinned by LEIG fire. Machine gun's going to be able to raise this point. Shock troops are moving over to the left to try to take that. Victory point is being lowered on the right by Korean Army. 4 VPs remain for Tofu. 2 VPs. And that's the game. And with this one, Korean Army earned the right to go on and face Siberian in round 6. And if you haven't watched those games yet, they were cast on the Sunday Night Fights channel by Ami Polizei-Funk and Love Nest, and I believe those games have all been uploaded to YouTube by now. So you should go check those out. There were some really great ones, and I will not reveal the spoiler, but I'll say that that was an intense series that SNF cast as well. And the victor of that one has moved on to the main event, and we'll be seeing him playing on Saturday the 26th. So tune in for that. I'm going to be joining Festive Long Johns and Iceman Joker on their channel to cast the series. I think we're going to probably watch Vindicare X versus Symbiosis, and then we'll watch the winner of that play Jezelin, then the losers bracket game, and then the winner of the series between Jezelin and the series with Aimstrong. So whoever goes off against Aimstrong, the winner of that. Check out the brackets. I'm not sure they're on COH2.org yet. You can definitely find them on Twitter by checking out Ami Polizei Funk's account. The brackets are up there, and yeah, it's got the time so you can plan your weekend schedule around that. I already have. And I will see all of you folks later on Computer Heat. Hello World Series. Bye bye, folks.